What we're going to talk about is trading or a client-based business. And this is going to be a really good video for people that are in business or are thinking about starting a business that's going to be based around serving clients. And we're going to kind of give you the pros and cons based on my experiences, my analysis on being in a trading business or being in a client-based business, because many people will go into business not necessarily know what they're getting themselves into. They're looking to fulfill a specific goal. And then when they get into that particular business, they realize that, you know what, my needs are not being met by this business, but I've outlaid so much capital to start this business. I now feel trapped in the business. And what I want to try to do is, based on my own experiences, based on some of the things I've learned about business, give you some understanding that maybe can give you more options in the future about what type of business that you decide to go into. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We're talking about trading or a client-based business. Okay. So the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do you really want in life? What is the thing that you really want in life? And before you go into any business, you need to ask yourself that, because many people are being sold to do something, but they really don't know what they want out of the situation, or they're not really honest with themselves as what they want out of it. And as a result, they don't get what they're looking for because they haven't determined from the onset, what do I really want to get out of this? Right? What do you really want out of your life? What do you want your life to look like when it's over? And then that can often determine what actions you get involved in. And you really need to be honest with yourself, because many people are not honest, but they're upset that they're not getting what they want to get out of life. But they're really not honest with what they really want out of life. Like, what do you really want? Now, we're talking about business. Do you want to be in a client-based business, or do you want to be in something else and you think a client-based business is how you can get it? This is a really big question. Do you really want to be in a client-based business? Do you really want to serve your clients? Do you really want to have a relationship with people and worry about trying to make them happy? Or do you really want something else and you think that a client-based business is how you can get it? And what happens in life often is that we have a problem and we don't know how to solve it. We have a question about our life, but we don't know how to get an answer to that question. And a person to come and say, hey, you can get this met doing this. But you want to ask yourself, am I really the kind of person that can be successful doing that? So let me give an example. Let's say I went into the military, but I wanted to feel important. So I went in, instead of me trying to figure out how to get promotions, I went and tried out to be in a special operations team. Well, I'm really there just because I want to be important, right? I really want to feel important. I want people to look at me, and I want to have a certain amount of status in society. And I think by getting on a special operations team is why I can do it. But I really don't want to be on a special operations team. Really, what I want to feel is important. Therefore, when it gets difficult, my desire to feel important is not greater than my disappointment that I'm not really good at trying to get on this special operations team. So what do? I quit. Because the real reason why I'm there is I just want to feel important. I want the status that I think is associated with being a special operator. When you're going into a business, a client-based business, do you really want to be in a client-based business? Do you understand what that entails? Or do you really want something else? And you believe, based on what information is in front of you, based on what you know, that a client-based business is how you can get it. And that's the question you want to ask yourself. And you got to be honest with yourself and say, well, you know what? There is a gap in my understanding. There's a level of ignorance I have about a situation. But many people can't get there because their ego won't allow them to admit that they don't know something. So they're acting on insufficient information about the situation because their ego will not allow them to admit. You meet people where they have an answer for everything, but their life is not a result of them having the right answer. Let's keep going. So the pros of a client-based business, right? Let's get into the pros. You have the ability to live your passion, live your purpose. If you really have a purpose for helping people, if you really have a purpose for dealing with individual people, you have a passion around that, a client-based business can help accomplish that. Because you'll be able to live. There are some people to where, I know a woman when I lived in Tampa, she had been playing piano her whole life. She had a business teaching children how to play piano. She was able to partner with churches. She was definitely able to partner with schools in her area. And she was able to support herself. She made a decent living, not a great living, but a decent living. teaching children how to play the piano. She loved to play the piano. Now, she was fortunate to be able to build a business around what she loved. There's a lot of people that play the piano that can't build a business around it. They just like to play. She loved to play, went to school for it and everything. Like literally went to college for music and was able to build a business around playing the piano. She had a client-based business. She was constantly dealing with people. So she taught individual students, she taught at schools, she taught at churches. So she was always dealing with people. That was her passion and her purpose. She was able to fulfill that through her business. So in some scenarios, the pros of a client-based business is you can live your passion, you can live your purpose. And this is what a lot of people are sold on, but they don't really, she liked the actual business and she was very good at it. But the actual situation with teaching people piano was really why she was there. She wasn't trying to be important. She wasn't trying to be, the woman in the space. She really wanted to just teach people how to play piano and get better at playing the piano because she loved music and she loved instructing on music. Okay. Let's get into the next one. Serve people via your business. Same thing. I have a client-based business and I can serve people. I work in the medical space and I can help people solve this particular problem. I work in the legal space and I can help people solve this particular problem. I know a woman that used to do expunging of people's records. She liked the fact that she could serve people in this particular business that she had set up. I can do counseling and I can serve people. And that's really why I'm here. I'm really here to serve, right? If you go into a business and it's to make the business successful, you have to be in service, but you really don't want to be in service. I really want to have time freedom. Well, you may be in the wrong business. I need to go into a business that's client based, and to be successful, I really have to be in service, but I really don't like serving. What I really want to feel is important. Well, you may be in the wrong business. I really want to have status, but to make this business successful, I have to be in service. Well, you may be in the wrong business because the pros of a client based business is that if you really are committed to serving people, you can serve. There's people that work in the medical space. There's pediatricians that may be working in your area. They may have delivered literally 3 or 4 generations of children in that area. And everybody knows this pediatrician is being a great pediatrician, great with kids. He's doing or she's doing that business because they're there to serve people. That's really what they're there for. And a client-based business can allow you to do that. So business success and fulfillment, right? You can get to success in business and you can get to fulfillment from having success. And if you have a really successful client-based business, let's say you start a solar company, let's say you start a landscaping company, let's say you start even washing cars for people. You can get that success and you can get that fulfillment from having that successful business because you're able to establish a successful client base, continue to serve your clients. They may bring you more and more clients and you can be successful in that area. And then you can get that fulfillment from being successful. That's one of the pros. Cons of a client-based business. You have to figure out lead gen or you will go out of business. It's something that's really, really important. If you can't figure lead gen out, you will go out of business. And many people don't realize this when they go into a client-based business. The falsehood around business is because you are technically able, that means you should start a business. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Because once you're in business, your technical ability is only one part of the puzzle. And this is what trips a lot of people up. Just because you're technically able doesn't mean you can go into business, especially when it's client-based. We're not talking about product sales. We're talking about client-based, right? Why? Because the first thing you got to do in a client-based business, you got to generate leads. And if you can't generate leads and if you don't make this important about your business, you eventually will go out of business. Or your business will be at such a level to where it's like you're not even in business. And this is something that's not talked about. People will see the end result of a client-based business, but not understand what actually needs to be done to be successful. And this is what happens. You go into business as client-based, and you find out that there's a whole marketplace of people that are going to either do lead gen for you or teach you how to do lead gen. That's their business. So what they do is they attach themselves to client-based entrepreneurs and client-based businesses by either doing lead gen for you or teach you how to do lead gen. See the guys, I'm going to show you how to get leads off Zillow, not Zillow. I'm going to show you how to get leads off LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how I generate leads to my home-based business off Facebook. I'm gonna show you how I generate leads off Instagram. You know, Facebook ads was really, really big. It's still big for lead generation. I'm gonna show you how I do it. Then you have the referral stuff. Well, we get all leads from referral. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Their business is showing you how to generate leads. That's their business. So they have a client-based business because there's so many people that have client-based businesses that are unsuccessful because they can't get enough lead flow. And therefore, because they can't get enough lead flow, they can't generate enough sales. And they're struggling. Now they're good at the actual business, but no leads are coming in. And they have no idea how to generate leads. They just know how to do their business. And they were taught, well, you can go live the life that you want to live if you start this business without understanding the components of the business. If you have a client-based business, you have to generate leads. Now, you got some people got extenuating circumstances. Their family may have already been in business. So then what they do is they piggyback off their family's order book or client book. Therefore, they didn't have to go generate those leads. They have that advantage over somebody else that doesn't come from that same situation, right? But you have to figure out lead gen or you will go out of business. Next one. You got to figure out sales and you will go out of business. You can generate the leads and can't sell them. You can generate the leads and can't convert them. And you have to really develop thick skin. People reach out to me all the time about my offer. Hey, David, and I'm not trying to put this person on blast. I'm just going to use it as an example. Somebody reached out to me about a sale offer that I had. And they said the code didn't work. I said, cool. I'm going to create a unique code just for you. Here's the amount of time you have to redeem the code, and gave them the code. You know what? They never bought it. You know why? Because they were never going to buy it. When you're generating sales and when you're in sales, you got to have really thick skin. Most people will not convert. And most people are going to lie to you about their actual intent. And you have to be able to filter through that and never lose your enthusiasm, because I'm so convinced that what I'm offering is valuable because I've seen how it's changed people's lives. To me, the person that doesn't buy misses out. Many times when we're first starting off in business and we don't have a track record of success, there's a doubt around our ability to actually solve the problem that we think we can solve. Unless we've done it, like say we work for somebody, we were successful, then we go into business, we know there's proof of concept for what we're doing. But many times if we start a brand new business, people think I'm gonna take an online course to become a consultant. They've never consulted anybody successfully and got a solution or solved a problem for that person. Therefore, they don't really know if they can consult. And then while they're trying to generate sales and people are turning them down and they're not converting, it can get in their head, well, maybe I'm really not that good at this. Maybe I really can't solve the problem. And so with sales, you got to develop a thick skin and realize that most people are not going to convert. And many people are not going to do what they say they're going to do because they're going to get distracted on the way to driving the sale. And you can't allow that to put doubt in you. You have to be so committed and so convinced that you are actually solving problems. You realize that those people are missing out. And when they catch back up with you, it's going to be more expensive because your price is going to go up and you're going to be better at what you're doing. Because most service providers, they keep moving their price up. That's how most service providers work. They move their price up. So most client-based businesses, people that provide services, over time, the price starts to go up. You can't worry about that. However, you have to figure out sales or you're going to go out of business. If you can't sell people on your services, you're going to go out of business. And many people start businesses. They need to generate leads. They need to take those leads, convert them into sales. They don't know how to do it. And as a result, the business goes under. Now, they've been trained on how to do the business, but the real business is driving sales. The real business is not actually doing the business. And you're also going to run into a bunch of people where their business is that they can get sales for you, or they can teach you how to get sales, because once you start the cloud-based business, now you got to learn how to sell. Those are two different skills. Your skill of what you do is one skill that you brought into the business. The second skill is how to sell. And then we have a narrative, especially on the internet, that driving sales is wrong. And so you can start to internalize that, and it'll hurt your sales ability. Now, nobody tells the college they're wrong for selling. Nobody tells Ford Motors they're wrong for selling, right? Nobody tells Coca-Cola they're wrong for selling. But they don't listen to what people on the internet say. They don't have time for that. They're running a business. And that's what you have to understand is that there's going to be a lot of, there could potentially can be a lot of pitfalls on your way to success because you haven't really built yourself up in this area to really insulate you from any noise. Because Coca-Cola don't care about you saying that they're selling a harmful product. They don't care about the fact that they're contributing to juvenile diabetes. They don't care that the fact that they're contributing to adult diabetes. They don't care. Their attitude is that we're going to keep selling our product, right? There is nobody on the internet that sells a more harmful product than a soft drink manufacturer. But the soft drink manufacturer doesn't care what you say about them. And you can't make money personifying that soft drink manufacturer because we don't know who Coca-Cola is. We just know the company, right? We don't who is Coca-Cola really? It's a company. There's no face to it. Therefore, as a YouTuber or as a person on social media, I can't personify them and talk about their sales activity. So they don't care. And they're never going to care. That's why they got a pretty much billion-dollar organization. You got to figure out sales or you're going to go out of business. If you don't figure sales out, you're going to go out of business. And many people go into business and they can't figure sales out. And as a result, they go out of business. They don't make sales really that important. They are very important. You got to maintain relationships with clients or they'll leave the business. So I'm running a client-based business. Let's say I do landscaping. I cut this person's grass twice a month. And I may have a contract, I may not. I got to maintain that or else I'm going to lose my business. Right? Therefore, I got to maintain a relationship with the client. Else I'm going to lose my business. Why? Because the only time I make money is when I'm cutting the grass. Right? It's a client-based business. And many people can struggle with that. Why? Because you can see your client ratio fluctuate over the year. People will come on and leave, right? And you got to deal with that. Right? Same thing if you do pest control. People will come on and decide they want to go somewhere else. They don't want to do it. You got to deal with that. So then what do you always got to be doing? You always got to be bringing new people in. Unless you can lock people into long-term contracts that they can't get out of, you always got to be bringing new people in. Why? Because you're going to lose people. It's called attrition. These are the things people don't think about, right? And you never a lot of times get the full scope of the story around a client-based business, right? You just get, I'm going to show you how to get the life you want by running this client-based business. And you may not necessarily know that your business is based on other people and their actions, not necessarily your actions, because you can't decide whether or not a person leaves your business. You can do everything for them. They still leave. Why? Because that's what they want to do. Or a situation in their life may change. It could be economic downturn. So people no longer can afford your service because your service is a luxury to them. Then you can do about that. Right? And when you don't understand enough about this business format, you think, well, I can get the life that I want. I can get quote unquote time freedom from having the business, but then realizing I'm running a client-based business. And so now a large amount of my focus has to be lead generation, sales conversion. Then how do I keep the people in my business? Once I can figure all those out, now I can start trying to figure out how to get time freedom. But I got to constantly negotiate those three elements. And these are the things that are part of that type of business model. All right, let's keep going. So we're talking about the pros of trading, right? We're going to talk about trading. So let's get into the pros. Benefits, low cost to start up. Many people go to me, say how much it's going to cost for me to start up trading. I started my account between $250 and $500. However, the issue is that if you don't have good emotional management and you don't have good management of capital, you can start an account with $1 million, you'll blow it. Because it's about you, not the amount. But it's not the kind of business to where, so the reason why I do options is because you don't have like a margin account where if you do like futures, right? Or you don't need like $25,000. I used to tell people that when they was doing stocks or equities. If you're trying to do futures, normally you got to get a margin account, which means you got to have a certain amount in the account to get the margin. Then if the trade goes against you, not only can you lose what you were actually trading with, but you can lose a larger amount because you're trading on margin. What I like about the derivatives market is a low cost to start up because you're only trading based on the actual principle of the contract. And you don't have to be buying really expensive contracts, but you do have to have good emotional management. You got to have good discipline and you got to be willing to do the research. Many people want something handed to them in the trading space. Nothing is going to be handed to you in the trading space. You got to go earn it. But you don't need $10,000 in an account to start up. But you may need to put in hours and hours of research to find what's going to be a good opportunity for you. So if you're looking for something to be handed to you, whether it's a client-based business or a trading business, you're still going to be in the wrong place, right? Because you're looking for a handout. It's not going to come in this area. Benefits. You own your retail account as long as it's a cash account. So we talked about before. Your futures, you may be told to take on margin. As long as you got a cash account, you own it. Therefore, there's no pattern day trade rule. Now, with options, you got to let the account clear, but they normally clear within 24 hours. And there's ways to get around that, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video, right? So the benefit of it is that you own the account as long as it's a cash account. It's your account. You can do what you want to do with it. That's the benefit. Let's go to the next one. No one's going to decide to transact with you or not transact with you because of an arbitrary reason. One of the things you learn in a client-based business, you can be locked out of environments because of how you look. You could be locked out of environments because of your politics. You could be locked out of environments because of your sexuality. You could be locked out of environments because of your biological sex. When you're running a trading account, nobody knows who you are. You're just a number. Your account has a number attached to it. Your account has certain securities inside of it. There's a market for those securities at a given time. The market either wants your securities at a certain price that you wanted at or higher or lower. That's the only thing that matters. No one is going to decide to transact with you or not transact with you because of an arbitrary reason. And one of the reasons that really attracted me to this space is because I felt like I was not able to get to certain levels in business because of arbitrary reasons. So I know 100% about what Kanye West is talking about. Because when you're trying to do real business, not entertainment, that's one thing. And there's barriers to entertainment, which is why you don't see certain people in certain areas of entertainment. We're not going to talk about that. But when you're trying to go into real business, he's trying to go into the manufacturing. He's trying to get brick and mortar storefronts opened up on his behalf. We start seeing that people don't want to transact with you because of a reason that you may feel is arbitrary. Right? Now, we're not going to use Kanye as 100% the example. I'm using him as an example of, I feel like I can't get to this level of business because of a very arbitrary reason. Right? Even though I may have a track record in business that may show I'm successful, I can't get to that next level because of arbitrary reasons. Well, another guy like Trevor Milton can get billions of dollars of capital, and he didn't have a track record in anything that he was doing, but he still attracted billions of dollars of capital. Right? And so that's something I ran into as a business owner. Well, I felt like there was a barrier on where I could go because of very arbitrary reasons, and I got tired of that barrier. But I wasn't going to like spaz out like Kanye. I just said, let me do something different to where I didn't have that particular barrier against me, because nobody knows who I am on the other side of an actual trading account, right? Nobody knows. I'm just a number with actual securities attached to my account. I want a certain price for them, and the market determines whether or not they want to come higher or lower than my particular price. That's one of the real big benefits that I enjoy, right? But everybody's different. There's no cap on your income. Right? As a trader, there's no cap on your income. There's a cap on your capital that you can put into it, but there's no cap on your income. So the New York Stock Exchange has a $90 trillion market cap. You work a job right now, there's a cap to how much that job can pay you. And you're competing with everybody else on that job for the amount of money that can potentially be paid out on that job. The amount of money you can pull out of the stock market that you think is real money, nobody that's actually really big in the market would even pay attention to you. Right? Me and somebody else could pull $50 million out of New York Stock Exchange this year, right? JP Morgan, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, they wouldn't walk across the street for $50 million. That's not enough money for them. They're doing billions every quarter, every 90 days. You understand me? That money would change our family's life forever. BlackRock wouldn't walk across the street for that money. You got to realize that in these particular spaces, what type of money that can impact your life positively is almost an accounting error to a lot of the heavy hitters in the market. You're not even worth your time. Where on your job or as a client-based business provider, if you try to raise your prices by 10%, you may get a lot of friction from your clients. Why? Because that's money coming out of their pocket now. You're providing a service because of the cost of living increase. I need to raise my prices by 5% across the board. You may get a lot of price resistance from your clients. So then now you figure, hey, I got to eat this, which means what? It's taken away from your bottom line. But you got to do this just to keep your clients. Right? So the benefit of being in this space is you don't have those particular issues. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, here's the cons. Every personality flaw you have will be exposed by the market. right? First personality flaw, I can't be wrong. I got to be right about every situation. Market's going to figure that out real fast and expose you because you got to be right about every situation. We program Americans to always have to be right, always look to be right about everything, not look to get it right. I got to be right. Market will figure that out with you about real quick, and it'll punish you because you can't get out of that spirit, right? I second guess myself. I say I'm gonna do something, but I don't do it. Market will figure that out real quick about you too. The market doesn't create any issues with people. People already had these issues, and the market exposes them, and they don't like the fact that the market exposed them, so they leave the market because in their real life they're able to hide or they're able to get on one accord with a bunch of people that have those same issues, and so those issues become normalized, right? When you're trading by yourself on your own account, there's nobody to normalize your personality flaws. So you now start to realize I have this issue. And when you get tired of facing it, you leave the market, and then you can go back to your regular situation, right? Where you've always had that issue, but you was able still to maintain because of how easy life is inside America. So that's one of the cons. Every personality flaw you have is going to get exposed by the market. And a lot of people can't deal with that. If you don't like to read and study, success will be hard to find, right? So one of the ways in which I really became successful at this market is I do a lot of reading, I do a lot of studying. Many people don't like to read, they don't like to study. They want all the information spoon fed to them off the internet, off the television. With internet's not a new TV. I just want to go on YouTube and have this other person spoon feed me all my information. Therefore, I'm gonna figure out what to do based on what they say, right? Well, why don't you figure out? Why don't you do some study and then come to the table with your own analysis? Like you say back in college, you read the book, so when you have the lecture, you know what the person's talking about. You don't just show up at the lecture, you have no idea what the person's talking about. You're not supposed to do that in college, even though some people do. You know, based on the syllabus, what the next lecture is. So you show up at the lecture already having read the material. So you can actually ask questions about the material based on the fact that you know what the material is. Average people too lazy for that. They want to wake up and have somebody spoon feed them the material. You're going to have difficulty in this market if you have that mentality. Because people that are really successful in this market, they like to read, they like to study. Right? That's just what they like to do. Let's keep going. You can feel like it's taking a long time to be successful because you want success now. One of the issues a lot of people have is that they wait till things get really bad for them. Then what they do is they try to figure out what's the quick solution. I need an overnight solution because I waited till things got really, really bad. I procrastinated. I didn't take action. I wait till things get really bad, and then now I want success overnight. This is why they get sold overnight success because they're desperate. So they get sold, I got the overnight success, formula for you. When you come into this market, you may feel like it's taking you a long time to become successful because you want success now. What if I told you you can get the success you desire, but it's going to take you 3 years? Would it be worth it? Now ask yourself, how long does it take to get through college? How long does it take you to go learn a trade? Electrician, plumber, carpenter. How long does that take? Right? Why do you think, because you're coming into this space, it should happen shorter than any of those other spaces? And when you're in college, you're taking multiple courses, day in, day out, have your breaks, but you're constantly at it. You go to learn a trade, you're going to work Monday through Friday to learn your trade. Right? You come into this space, what are you doing daily to get better? Nothing. It's just going to happen. Okay, well, you wait on that. You may feel like it's going to take a long time to become successful because you want success right now. And that can be difficult for you because no success happens overnight. So that's going to be one of the cons. It's people that want overnight success. Let's keep going. Your role in society was never to be a manager of capital, right? So you can have imposter issues where I'm managing capital, but I don't really feel like I'm supposed to do that because we weren't really put here to manage capital. And it shows in our conversation, it shows how we see the world. I had a guy to me talking about a billionaire don't care about how much money a woman has. Well, billionaires aren't gonna mess with broke women. They're not in a like. What do you think a billionaire is an environment where the women are broke? Right? We haven't been groomed to really understand financial things. We were just groomed to work, pay taxes. Really, that's why we're here. We're here to work, pay taxes. We're here to work, pay back government debt. We're here to work, make sure the military is funded. That's why we're here. And that's our real value in this society. And then they try to give you something when you get older to make sure that you don't think bad about working to finance tax base in the military. That's really why you're here. Because that's why you're here in the minds of the people that are controlling society, they socialize you to be that kind of person. When you start getting outside of that, you start feeling like, well, why am I doing this? Because the average person I know doesn't think like this. They don't see the world like this because you're going outside of the role that they told you were supposed to be here. Because for the majority of us, our job is to work, finance the tax base, work, finance the military. That's why you're here. They need your labor to do that. Pay back the money, pay back the interest on the money that was printed. That's why you're here. So your role in society was never really to be a manager of capital, right? And therefore, once you start managing capital, you can feel like you got imposter syndrome. That's one of the cons. Your role in society was never to be an evaluator of business and the economy. So you can have identity issues even when successful. That's imposter syndrome. So you never were supposed to really evaluate business and the economy. And then therefore you have imposter issues. Your job is just to work, enjoy yourself on the weekend, make sure you pay your taxes, which is what they really come after you for, to make sure that money goes to the tax base, money goes to the military. And you keep doing that, and you keep doing that, then at the back end, they give you a little bit of support. So the people that are ahead of you don't feel like, well, I don't want to go through this process because it's going to look bad at the end. And they just keep rolling out that particular process over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what they're going to do till the country's over. Then they'll come up with a new process. Because that was never meant to be your role in society, you may not feel comfortable. That's one of the cons. And you got to get over that and learn how to work your way through it. Let's go to the next one. So what I want you to understand is that you can start a client-based business, not a negative thing, but understand what's entailed, what goes into that. Most important thing is, what do you really want out of life? And how do you think a client-based business can help you get that based on what is involved? You can become a trader, right? But the question is, what do you really want out of life? And based on everything that's involved in trading, how can trading help you get that? Because either way, you got to make a choice. So the choice is yours. I want to really encourage you to choose wisely, put your best foot forward. David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave. I'll talk to you later.